These past couple weeks in German 88, we discussed the word Vergangenheitsbewältigung, or the struggle to overcome the negatives of the past. To Germans, this word refers to the question of collective fault, embarrassment, and guilt surrounding the war crimes of the Holocaust during World War II. German individuals engage with Vergangenheitsbewältigung in different ways. Many younger Germans have taken to opening conversation with their grandparents, who were alive during the period from 1933 to 1945, asking for personal accounts of what happened and the role they played in it. Others take to action, erecting monuments for Holocaust victims as a tangible commemoration of Vergangenheitsbewältigung. In any case, Germans apparently still see a lot of work to be done in coming to terms with the negatives of the past. This can be seen in the Jerusalem Post's 2014 article about German cartoonist Süddeutsche Zeitung's caricature of Mark Zuckerberg octopus hybrid taking over the world. This cartoon's purported stark reminiscence to a 1938 Nazi cartoon of a Jewish Winston Churchill octopus hybrid wrapping its tentacles around the world attracted bitter backlash from Ephraim Zaruf, a so-called Nazi hunter of the Wiesenthal Center. Zeitung, in an email, rejected the notion that his cartoon was anti-Semitic or racist, claiming such ideologies were foreign to him and that he was simply depicting Facebook's recent acquisition of WhatsApp and its ever-increasing far reach in people's private lives. The octopus's distinctively long nose was pointed to as evidence for anti-Semitism, as such was used to caricature Jews. However, Zeitung's claims that the picture was simply a combination of the fictional Pirates of the Caribbean octopus Davy Jones and comedic exaggeration. Admittedly, the resemblance to Winston Churchill's cartoon is tenuous. Churchill's tentacles are much fewer and more detailed than Zuckerberg's numerous and distinct tentacles. There is no indication of inking or a Star of David in the Zuckerberg depiction as there is in the 1938 cartoon. Additionally, the expressions of the two men octopus hybrids are different. Zuckerberg with a greedy look of gluttony, although greed being a common negative stereotype against Jews, and Churchill, a look of exhaustion and stupor. Furthermore, Zuckerberg and the character Davy Jones are remarkably similar in appearance, and it wouldn't require a stretch of the imagination to see that the art was based on the fictional pirate and not a real 1938 general. However, as the Jerusalem Post article goes on to explain, there was actually a second version of Zeitung's cartoon released that instead of a long straight nose, had a hooked nose, instead suggesting that someone in the SC publication must have caught on to the potential insensitivity of the art and tried to correct the offense. Regardless of the attention, the issue of context remains. If such a cartoon were published in the United States, would it elicit such a stark criticism? Do those involved in mass media have an added responsibility as a part of Vergangenheitsbewältigung to take extra precautions to censor against representations that could be interpreted as anti-Semitic? Such is tied up in the concept of Vergangenheitsbewältigung, as Germans come to terms with the collective guilt of their cultural history. They must struggle to define a notion of what crossing the line is and what it is not. The truly experimental nature of establishing this reality can be seen in Sasha Stowski, head of media watchdog organization Honestly Concerned in Germany's comment. Every citizen has the right to be concerned about the invasion of his or her privacy, whether it be in regards to Google, Facebook, whatever multi-level organization it may be. And one may even compare such a multifold invasion into all areas of our privacy to the creeping arms of an octopus. So far, so good. Most notable about this statement is its tone of appraisal. The fact that denazification watchdog organizations exist in the first place point to the importance of Vergangenheitsbewältigung in Germany. But in addition, its evaluation of what one may even do, quote unquote, connotes the necessity of a moral license in making public statements. In an effort to separate innocuous political expression from Nazi sentiment, the organization is as meticulous as to define what exactly was done in the cartoon objectively, a harmless comparison of a multi-level organization to the arms of an octopus. Further, the comment ends with the note, so far so good, as to imply that such scrutiny is part of a regular process of evaluating mass media in Germany, and that the cartoon in isolation did not, at face value, reach the bar of Nazism. This article provides a window of insight into the modern cultural atmosphere of Germany with regards to its struggle to define political okays. However, in order to offer a complete representation of German political atmosphere, it must be observed that not everyone is as enthusiastic about judging the level of Nazi public statements. A 2013 article from Spiegel Online entitled Germany's Risky Push to Outlie Far-Right Parties discusses the reality that there still remains extremist Germans who espouse racist, violent ideology similar to that of Hitler's Nazi Party, with rejections of Africans, Asians, and so-called Orientals as not true Germans because of their biological heritage and distaste for Holocaust memorials. The German NPD party, instead of correcting what is widely viewed as a negative past, embraced their past, trivializing its negative aspects. Hitler's ideologies are not simply viewed as venerable parts of history of a people, as say maybe the Confederacy is seen by some Americans, but as a positive one with applicability in the modern cultural sphere. One may ask how Vergangenheitsbewältigung can truly be universally engaged in face of such political difference among Germans. However, such is the challenge that Germans face today. While many diverge in their methods of engaging the past, most Germans can agree that the horrific events from 1933 to 1945 are a part of the past that must be engaged with one way or the other. While most would agree that the Holocaust will and should never disappear from the consciousness and discussions of Germans, perhaps with time, Germans will grow to establish a more robust and unified way of digesting a problematic history.